Hi everyone, I am Sarmad Iqbal and I am a 21-year-old Pakistani blogger, writer, columnist, polyglot undergrad student, news reporter, public speaker, and a vlogger. And I am studying political science these days from Pakistan's Forman Christian College University, and I'm a sophomore. But apart from my studies, I do blogging as well, I do column writing as well, and I do use these mediums and I do use this art of writing for greater good, for greater goals. And those greater goals are connecting people despite all their differences, despite all the differences which may have been visible, which may have been superficially present over there. For example, these efforts are manifested in the articles in which I, as a Pakistani, for the first time talked about the distant lingual connections between my country and countries like Israel and Armenia, with which my country doesn't have any official relations due to several political tensions. And those articles garnered heartwarming responses globally. Those articles stood out as flag bearers of interfaith harmony through commonalities which were being shown between countries which have been hostile to each other. Apart from that, I do envision myself as someone who needs to showcase through his writing the narrative of people whose narrative has never gone out, whose narrative has never been showcased in a light, in a spotlight which was required for such a long time. I've talked about the rights of trans folk in my country, which is one of the oppressed and marginalized groups, not just in my country, but in a larger part of the world. Just because of their gender, just because of what they look like, they are being discriminated. And I shared stories how there have been transgenders and trans folk who have been making difference through getting employed in different sectors like banking sector or business sectors or like entertainment or showbiz, but still they are being discriminated, and how that discrimination needs to be stopped, needs to be prevented. So my articles are not just about promoting global peace and promoting global connectedness, but they are also about showcasing the narrative of people whose narrative has never gone out, whose narrative has been about how they have to go through oppression, how they have to go through marginalization on a daily basis. I do highlight these narratives and I do talk about global peace because I think we shall never embrace despondency. We shall always be hopeful because there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and we shall always strive towards a path of progression and peace wherever we are, wherever we live, whatever circumstances life gives us. Because we are one. We live in an era of globalization. We all are connected to each other despite whatever differences there are. We are connected through common problems like corruption, poverty, and terrorism. We are connected through common languages and common words and common food.